Okay, you understand that? All right, okay, you understand that? Now, we need to reiterate, we are working with a shoulder rig harness here, all right? Okay, you understand that? Now, Smitty over here with the gut sticking out. Get in shape, boy. Do not come back to my class unless you are squared away. You understand that? All right? Okay. Now, again, you're in the fight. All right? Okay? You understand that? You are now officially out of ammo. You understand that? Look carefully. All right? Now, to stay in the fight, the best thing you need to do, all right? You understand that? We are going to hold the weapon system and cant the magazine well to the inboard position. All right? You understand that? You got that? All right. Now, with your hand, you are going to position yourself to the magazine holding section of the weapon system over here. Watch carefully. Your thumb comes down to the snap to reload. As that thumb pushes down, you are taking these two fingers. Your thumb will be facing just like so. All right? You got that? You understand that? Your index finger will be resting across the bottom of the magazine well. You got that? You understand that? Because when you pull that magazine out, you are pulling down and have the ability to turn that magazine inboard and up towards the weapon system. And at that point, you will also cant the magazine into the well like so. Tap! All right, you understand that? Now, at this point, what you want to do is quickly, like that, as fast as you possibly can. You understand that? All right, okay. Come on, you know I'm right with the whole get up and the whole. All right, you understand that? All right, okay. Okay, let's now let's talk about, at least in my state, the requirements to be a firearms instructor. So you have to have a criminal justice degree or law enforcement certification, shooting proficiency with a rifle, shotgun, handgun, CPR certification. Let's just go ahead and take this off too. Pass an instructional led course, as in like you being the firearms instructor, you have to pass I'm a firearms instructor course, which is 81 hours. And obtain this USCCA or NRA certification for CCW training. So if I wanted to, I can be a firearms instructor in North Carolina, but it's just not practical. I don't have my own land. But if I were, boy, would my instruction be just calm. It would be basic because, you know, we're not teaching people to go fight in Afghanistan. We're not training Navy SEALs and MARSOC Marines for firearms training courses. So what prompted me to make this video this time? I think I've just seen enough with firearms instructors on YouTube. And the last one was a straw that broke the camel's back. Now, you all have heard me say before, I don't like to call out a specific channel and trash them. I don't like doing that. Now, I will mention what I saw, but I won't mention the channel, their name, whatever, stuff like that. But I saw the most ridiculous thing I could possibly see from a firearms instructor on YouTube, and I just had to make this video. So what did I see? Very overweight man, carrying appendix, okay, which is right there. And of course, he's like this, so his pistol is obviously pointing, you know, straight down in an area you do not want to have a negligent discharge in. And so let's do the stomach stick out thing. And so what he's talking about, that wouldn't look good as a fat guy, would I? He said he taught these people to take your hand and slam it into the gun to where your hand and the gun bounce out to draw. You're shitting me, right? Who comes up with this stuff? How do you teach a class of students trying to get their CCW or just learn about firearms? Such nonsense. I see a lot of overcomplicating things, kind of like when I was showing you how to reload that Glock. Of course, I made sure it was empty. So again, my background is firearms training in the United States Marines. I had to take 2 firearms training courses, you know, instructor-led. Well, I had to take one for my concealed carry in North Carolina. In Florida, I didn't because I was prior military. But anyway, I took a certified firearms training course in North Carolina. And then I went to a range locally here where the guy was a firearms instructor and gave me more additional training. Beyond that, yeah, I've been doing a lot of shooting, a lot of testing, studying, and actually doing ballistics tests, chronograph tests, stuff like that, and learning a lot about firearms. So never once did the military or either one of these instructors talk any kind of crazy jargon like weapon system and WMLs for your PIDs and talking about oodles of accessories. Now, if anyone knows shotguns well, the firearms instructor that tells you you need dots, optics, flashlights, even a bayonet on a shotgun, laugh. Because all of us know that shoot shotguns, any accessory on a shotgun, because of the massive recoil, is going to work those accessories loose and jettison them up into the ionosphere. It will happen. A firearms instructor should be teaching you the basic safety fundamentals. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you are on target and you know what's beyond your target and you are ready to engage your target. Again, know what's beyond your target in case you miss. Treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Always point the gun in a safe direction, just in case. A firearms instructor should be teaching you, because again, you're not a Navy SEAL or a MARSOC Marine, should be teaching you repetition. Draw, aim, click with an empty weapon, and that gun should be a plastic model that they get you used to begin with. Then, of course, you progress to your own gun at the range, etc. Teach you repetition, unload, load, rack or revolver, cocking the hammer back properly when the cylinder's open, not slinging it back in because that's going to destroy the little, I forgot what it's called, but the piece that grabs the drum or the wheel, if you will. They should calmly be teaching you how to get shots on target, proper breathing, proper stance. They should have a safety kit available in the event something goes wrong. They should have a safety protocol of what everyone should do in the event of a medical emergency. And they shouldn't be over-complicating things. This is what I can't stand with firearms instructors on YouTube. They over-complicate everything. Just show them how to draw from their holster, to not flag themselves, keep their finger off the trigger, get on target, your finger's still off the trigger, how to breathe, put your finger on the trigger, slowly squeeze. Again, you're not training Navy SEALs and MARSOC Marines. Don't use words like can't, the magazine, inboard. Don't use put your finger here, rest it just like this because you can then twist, turn, do the hokey pokey. Stop. Again, it is empty. When these instructors overcomplicate things and use crazy jargon, what's that going to do to the student? It's going to make that student feel like really intimidated, and that this is a really, really hard concept to grasp. There's too many technical ways to do something, too many technical terms, and they're not going to be comfortable. I know I'm not a firearms instructor, but common frickin' sense, and going by how I was taught, none of this technical stuff is nonsense. A firearms instructor should also not be teaching you how to reload, get on target, and pull the trigger as fast as you can. That's for MARSOC Marines and Navy SEALs. The best thing I can tell you, if you have to take a firearms course to get your CCW, or you live in an extremely tyrannical state and you can't even own a shotgun without going through 750 hours of firearms training, look for the warning signs I was telling you. The crazy jargon, the accessories are mandatory, complicated words, complicated ways of manipulating your gun. Yeah, I said gun, holy crap. I didn't say weapon system or firearm. Watch for firearms instructors that do not have a safety protocol, do not have any safety equipment. They're always using real guns instead of plastic ones. They're not following safety protocol with everyone being behind the firing line. Everyone fires at the same time. You're making sure guns are unloaded during instructional periods, and that they're just teaching you firearm fundamentals and shooting fundamentals. But when I see these videos of the demonstration I gave you, and then the one guy with the big gut with the, we gotta do this again. Take your hand, slam it into your gut so that it bounces out. Shit. Just watch out for people like that, all right? Thanks for watching. Semper Fi. Yep.